Hello, this is Bill Webb, aka Billy Indiana. Today I'm going to be doing an unboxing for a game that I've been looking forward to for so long. It's a game that I was able to play online during its pre-Kickstarter development, and now I finally have it in hand, and that is Oros. This is by Aesc Games and Brandt Brinkerhoff. This game is such a unique game of tile placement, tile movement, terraforming land, and so let's open up this box and see what comes in this Kickstarter edition of Oros. So in this Kickstarter edition, I ordered the double-sided neoprene mat. I'll crack that open here in a little bit and we'll take a look at it. Set it off to the side here for now. And let's go ahead and see what's inside this box. I'm going to take off the plastic so we can see some of the UV, but let's quickly look around the edges of the box. So you can see there, we've got this art of the green demigod there on this end. We've got the art of the red demigod on that end. We've got the purple demigod there vertically. And then on this side, the blue demigod there vertically. All right, let's turn it over. It says, Oros, be an all-powerful demigod in an ever-shifting world. Oros is a strategy board game about humankind's ancient pursuit of hidden knowledge and power. As a mighty demigod, you must compete with other players to continually shape the landscape, build sacred sites on mountains, transform your wisdom into powerful abilities, and ascend to higher knowledge. All right, and I had a great privilege of being able to play, an online version of this with Brandt Brinkerhoff himself and Allison from Better Half Reviews. Really loved it. My immediate thought was, this is could be one of my favorite games. You're going to erupt volcanoes, form mountains, and build sacred monuments in the pursuit of wisdom and knowledge. 1 to 4 players, high strategy, 30 minutes per player, ages 14 and up. It's kind of interesting here. It's 5 dots for strategy, 1 for random chance, 3 for mechanic complexity, and then 5 for player interaction. All right, so let's go ahead and open this up. I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see the UV with the lighting that I have here. But hopefully you can see a little bit of that as I shift. There's just like this kind of circular wave pattern. Again, not sure how well you'll be able to see that, but really cool. We'll go ahead and open up the box here. And then on the inside of the box, you can see there's this nice map. Now, all the tiles that are in the game, they make this map. So you can use these tiles and you can use this picture to recreate this map that's on the inside cover. So that's kind of a unique thing that Brandt was able to create for those that are interested in doing a puzzle. Here's our rule book. And it's interesting because there's a fair bit to understand, but it really flows pretty well. Once he taught the game in just a few minutes, after a round or two, I was right there in understanding it. Now, all the strategies that can go into it, that's going to take a while to really think through, I think, and get better and better at it as you play. You can also play solo or 2-player with the really nice automa that are built in. And then here's just the general gameplay and game overview. All right. And one thing that makes this one unique is that you're going to be shifting these land masses and colliding them together, trying to create mountains. And then on the mountains, you're going to be then building up these monuments. And as you do that, you're improving the knowledge of your characters and then climbing up this ziggurat. And it's as kind of the timer of the game. And then, it's just really interesting how the game board changes. And then here you can also see advanced game variants, Grand Mountains, the Jade Jaguar, a worthy side quest. So you've got all these different things over here, things you can find. This is really interesting too. It says, keep a watchful eye for these hidden items tucked away across the Oros artwork. Can you find them all? And so it's really interesting that he's put all of these into the artwork. And then a list of achievements you can kind of track back here. Common mistakes, tips and strategies, and then some thanks there. And then symbol reference guide on the back. All right, now this has a really nice storage solution. In here we can see the volcanoes on top. And these top 2 trays are to put the different pieces that everyone's going to need kind of in these trays. So you can see these are screen printed volcanoes. These are the ones. I'm just going to dump those in here for now. And then here are some twos. Again, you can see the screen printing here. Just put those here. And then here we've got some threes. Oh, it looks like they've got markings here. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Oh, these are probably for the tiles, though. Maybe not the volcanoes. I bet the volcanoes are supposed to go in here. I have to look through and see if there's something either online or maybe in the manual that talks about the best way to use these inserts. Yeah, with the way the bottoms of these troughs are designed with a little kind of gradation there, I'm sure it's for the tiles. So here's the level 3 volcanoes. And then we've got level 4 volcanoes. And I probably should be splitting these more evenly, half and half, because I think this is, you know, one for one side of the table, the other for the other side of the table. We'll dump them all on this side for now. And then these are the little pieces that help you click the player boards together. They're actually multi-layered, so maybe we can show you that in a little bit. So push these off to the side. Oh, this is one of those desiccants to kind of keep the moisture out, but it's not a pack, it's a little tab. And then here's the tiles. And so again, in the rulebook, you're gonna, like, here's some kind of an owl, it looks like. I don't know if that's one of the hidden features. There's a pineapple. So I have to look through that list and see what some of these hidden features are that he's mentioned. And then in these trays, like I said, there's 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5, and mountains. And so that's, I think, we're going to be putting these tiles in. Another desiccant here. So for instance, we can pop out this 1 and this 4, and then looking at this tray, the 1s go here, 4s go here, and so we'll just be popping those out and storing them in the trays. All right, so you can see some of the art there and the tiles that will be popping out and sorting. All right, and then we get to the player boards. Now the player boards themselves are pretty thin, but I'll talk to you a little bit about how that works. So it's actually multi-layered, and that's what those little tabs are for. So, and also on every player board, you've got the regular player side, so each player will have their own side. But then on the back of it, each one has its own automa. So this green automa plays differently than the red one, than the blue one, and then the purple one. And so there's 4 different automa that you could go against with very different sort of personalities. But each player that plays is going to have their own side as well. So that's the 4 player boards. So these are the same. It's the automa that are asymmetric, if I'm remembering correctly. All right. Now this is where the other parts of those player boards come together. So let me show you this and pull these out. Got another little desiccant tab there. So this one's for the green one, and you're going to punch out all these. I won't punch out everything here, but just a few things to show you here, the idea. And then we'll just punch out maybe 1 row here. And they do seem to punch pretty well. Then you're going to put this over the mat. And so now you can see what's coming through here, and it makes it dual layered. Okay, so I just will need to go through and punch out all of these. And there's a lot more, but that's just a few more again, so you can kind of see how then you line it up, and then you can see those things coming through. And then those little black tabs, I'm not sure where I put them, here they are. Those little black tabs are going to go through these openings here, these little holes here, to pin them together. Okay. So that's kind of the idea. And we've got, you know, the 4 colors here. So we're punching all of those and putting them together. And then here's the back side. So it's actually 3 layered. And the goal, and I don't know if it's going to be successful or not, but hearing some of the development that was going on during the Kickstarter project, Brandt mentioned that the goal was to hopefully make these so that they didn't bend and warp so much. I'm not sure if that's going to actually be the result, but again, you can see how I'm just going to punch out a few here. And then for the green character, so now we've got the one on the front, and then this one goes on the back. And so now on the back you can see the Automa. If you're using the green Automa, now it's going to have that dual layered look to it. And then they'll be pinned together here in the corners. I'm wondering if having just the pin here at the top and not at the bottom is going to hold it together well enough. I'll have to try. I'll put them together here shortly. And then here we got the ziggurat. This is kind of the timer of the game. The demigods are going to be moving up, and when one of the demigods reaches 15, that's the signal for the end of the game. Here is the player board, and it is two-sided. All right, so we'll lay it out here. So this is the regular cardboard player or game board. And we've got places where volcanoes spawn with the red squares around them. You can see these tracks. So if I'm moving these land tiles, they would follow around and move over to here. So you're going to be shifting those tiles all over. And like I said, combining two 2s together to make a 4, combining two 4s together to make a mountain. And then on the other side of the board is a smaller board for smaller player count, if you don't want to have so much room and maybe make it a little bit more crowded, a little bit more competitive. All right, I think this might be a good time to go ahead and open up the Neoprene and show you how it compares. I'm pretty certain that it's virtually the same size and also two-sided. So here you can see the Neoprene mat with the full size all the way to the edge. It's stitched along the edge. And then flipping it over, you can see the smaller. So just repeating that. Now here on the bottom, we're going to have, each player is going to have their own little container to put their demigod, to put their temples and monuments that they're going to be building, and their little discs for scoring. And so each player is going to have their own one of these 4. So you can see there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then here are those monuments and temple tiles in all the different colors. So those will be sorted out and put into them. These are also screen printed, so we can bring out a few here to show you the different colors and the design on them. There you can see a few. And then here are the trackers. So on those player boards, when they're put together, these little tracker pieces are going to help you know where you're at, because they're actually on each player board. You're raising the ability in each of the different categories, and these are just the little wooden trackers that you slide up the player board to see where you've elevated to. So you can keep track of your advancing abilities as the game progresses. So for instance, you might be able to, instead of just moving 3 places, you might be able to move 4. Normally you can't make mountains move on the map, but you might be able to develop the ability to make mountains move as well. You might be able to gain more points at the end of the game, depending on, again, which levels you rise up. So lots of different things. So here we have them for the blue and the yellow. We've got those trackers. We've got the 4 demigods. These are nice and chunky. So let's pull these out, take a look at those. And you can see they are real thick, screen printed on both sides. So those are the demigods. And they fit just nicely in here. Let's see if I can remember where they go. There we go. And then here are the followers. So here are the followers for the green player. And then we've got the yellow player, the blue and the orange. So these are all, again, screen printed wooden followers that you're going to be moving around on the board, sending them out to study, sending them out to build monuments and temples. So here's what those look like for the blue player. And they're also, it's a worker placement, but on your board, you're playing your workers on your own board or out on the game board. And when you're playing them on your own player board, you're actually potentially blocking yourself as opposed to blocking other players. So a really unique feature there. And then I think here are maybe some, I forget if these are Kickstarter exclusives. There's some nice wooden tiles. I don't remember what these are for. It might be one of the different advanced modes. So I'll have to look through and remind myself about that. And here's the temples. I forget what the three, there's monuments, temples, and there's one in the middle, but there's the 3 levels. So you start off by having to put down this L-shaped one, and then on top of that, a different player has to put down this one, and then on top of that, a different player has to put on this one. So you can only ever build one of your structures on any given tile, on any given mountain. And so it's interesting, you might build the monument and someone else comes along and builds this 2nd level and someone else comes along and builds this 3rd level, but you gain some benefits if you happen to be there when it happens. And then here are the tracking tokens. I think you can use these if you'd rather not have the big wooden pieces. Here are the automa cards. So whether you're using the red or the green or the blue or the purple, these are the cards you use, and each automa has its own set of cards. See if I can get these open here. This is normally my kryptonite, but that actually went pretty smoothly. So here are the blue automa cards, and then the green, and then the purple, and then the red. So each, like I said, each one has a very different feel. Some are more aggressive. And then here we've got the J Jaguar. Again, I think this is one of those expansions that comes with the Kickstarter version. And then we do have a little score pad here to keep track of your points. So there you have it. That's what comes in Oros, the Kickstarter version, and a little bit about how things fit together. I'll probably go ahead and put everything back together and maybe film a real quick reboxing video as well so you can see how I've organized it. So stay tuned for that if you're curious. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this video. If you have any questions, make sure you leave those down in the comments below, and I'd be glad to answer them when I have a chance. As always, thanks for watching. This is Billy, Indiana, signing off.